So, good evening. Welcome to another episode of Grant Talks Funny Bits. Hopefully, you can hear me and see me okay. Every week, we always have some kind of technical issue. A couple of weeks ago, we had Matt Hale on, and it was halfway through we discovered that Facebook now has the it hates any type of copyrighted music, so we're going to be very careful in the clips we show later on. Otherwise, we get the sound cut from the feed. Every week is a learning process. So, we've brought guests from all around the world, from America, from Vegas, from Australia, from Sheffield in South Yorkshire, Ireland. We're trying to bring the best of stage hypnosis from around the world, but not just about the egos. It's about each person, each guest that we've had on brings something to the profession. And tonight's guest is absolutely no exception from that. He really does put on a fantastic show. The production value alone is brilliant. And when you see his images on Facebook, you know, it's a style unique to him as well. The way the chairs are laid out on some of the stages, some big productions. This guy's been on Belgium's Got Talent. He's from Belgium, just in case you're wondering. He's been on Belgium's Got Talent. He speaks, I believe, 4 languages. That makes me feel like an absolute imbecile because I barely manage English, and some people probably say I don't even manage that too well. So please show some love. If you've got any questions, this is your chance to ask a true professional. After this little graphic, we shall bring in Patrick Pickart. And here he is. Oh, and I was getting well. There he is, ladies and gentlemen. Please make some noise. Show your love and appreciation for the legend that is Patrick Pickart, stage hypnotist extraordinaire. So, Patrick, how are you?
Yes, good.
Fantastic.
And yourself?
I'm not too bad, actually, surviving. Things were starting to look really positive in the UK, but our Prime Minister, in his wisdom, has just kind of shaken things up a little bit, just had a bit of a twist into September. So it's all very interesting. And it's weird to see how the rest of the world is, some parts of that, America, some parts of that is really opening up now. I was in Budapest a couple of weeks ago, and that was starting to look really kind of getting more open, but it looks like in the UK now, we're now putting people on quarantine if they've been to Budapest. So it's a bit crazy. What about yourself? I mean, I know summer season's massive for you for holiday parks. How's COVID hit you?
Yeah, in a way, of course, since March, we are all a bit affected, and then we were closed inside our homes, and of course, all the shows were cancelled between March and June. I managed to do some online shows, so even paid. So, and then since July,
Oh, I think your internet's just gone a bit slow there. So yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting to get your take on the virtual shows and how they've worked out for you. Let's just see if we can just find you, Patrick, if you are there. Oh, there we go. We've got you back.
So that was a good thing. Also, I would say money-wise, and but of course there were a lot of shows cancelled in Belgium and Netherlands mainly. So, yeah, I think I did about 40 shows on 60 days. So that's not too bad.
That's pretty good going, is that? I mean, I must admit, when I saw you were doing the Tour de France, it was kind of like wow, and it looked, you know, I mean, you've got your own spiral face mask, haven't you?
Yes. I don't have it here with me, but indeed, but people can see it on Facebook or on Instagram. My typical mask with my own designed spiral.
Yes. I must admit, you're good at the branding. Alana Jennings has just asked, how do your glasses stay on?
I will take them off. 1 minute. No, just joking. Yeah. So it's just, you know, resting. But then
they're fantastic, and a great.
1998, so they're all 22 years old. So
oh wow!
It's a Belgian brand from TU, and so it became my trademark.
Oh, absolutely. And when I first saw them, it was kind of like that was, and again, I was quite like, you kind of look to kind of see it. At first, I thought you had a tattoo, and then I'm like, oh my god, no, it's really
a
cool.
lot of people think it's a tattoo, or I do a drawing on my head, but it shows my split personality, I say. So
very sci-fi, Alana says. So yeah, I mean, branding wise, you're really strong on that as well. Like you said, you've got your own spiral face mask. You've got the same spiral as like carpets, round carpets on your stage as well.
Yes. So this is a little bit. I was thinking, I take always pictures of my own show. So I do my show, I do my music, I do my photography, and a lot of people ask why you do that. In the past, I wanted to have the pictures of the people that they took pictures in the in the audience. But they always promised, I will send them to you, I will send them to you, and I never got them. And I got frustrated because, we are in the digital world. It's not like 30 years ago where you need to develop them and then sending by airmail and all these kind of things. So it's just sending, and people always lose them. Oh, they, I don't know why hard disk crashed everything, but I never managed to get the pictures. And then I said, okay, I will take them myself. And in the beginning, I did it really with a big camera, these DSLR cameras, and then on my knee I adjusted them, and then with the mic in one hand, and then I took the pictures, and then of course the iPhone came, and the quality would get better and better, so it was much easier to take pictures. And then I saw that a lot of people. And I hope that these people are not here now, but because they steal my photos. And also there are some hypnotists who take pictures of other hypnotists and put them on their website, again, a new show and a new show. And then I thought, how can I manage that people don't steal my photos? Because when I take pictures of my own show, I'm never on my own pictures. I'm always missing in the image. And then I started to put banners. You see, one on the left, one on the right. And then, so when I take from one angle, because I'm not always in front of the participant, because then I will block the side of the audience. So I'm always in one or another corner. And then I put these banners left and right to always, to be present. And of course, I put my website on it and anything, and that became now a kind of new setup to promote myself, but also to tell this is my show and nobody else's show. And now you see a lot of hypnotists putting always these banners left and right. So, but that was the original idea, and to take pictures, to have images. Because people want, like, I don't know if it's on fairs as well in the UK and in other countries, but you see when you do something really fun, or you want a souvenir of it. And I think hypnosis is, what did I do? Oh, and people in the audience, when they take pictures, you have these small people, you have hundreds of heads of the audience, and then you see 10 people, that's me there on the back. I'm on the front row. I have the best pictures. So I thought, okay, when I take my pictures, people want to have my pictures. So I attract them to my website. I attract them to my social media because they want to take my picture. And I have the best quality because I'm at 1 meter or less of the participants. So everybody, I can identify themselves, and they will share it. And that's that's what we want. We want that people talk about my show. But then I take a lot of people on the floor. But the floor is the most boring background. Because we have always nice lights and curtains and colors on the backside, but never on the floor. But when people, we like to have this dramatic part that people are laying on the floors, and then you have pictures of them. But then I thought, why not creating a background? And that's why I came with the idea of putting this spiral carpets like they are falling. You know what you see
Yeah.
sometimes in cartoons, or in movies, that they fall away and get in a deep trance, and they fall into a spiral. And I imitate this, and then you have a vertical background, and
Yeah.
that's the idea behind those carpets.
That's a brilliant idea, and I love the thinking behind it. You're absolutely right, and it's one of the things that a lot of the staging from the sets and the stages that I've seen you perform on, again, are quite unique to you. And we spoke briefly before the show started about kind of Jean-Michel Jarre and kind of that kind of inspiration. And yeah, I mean, it's great to see. I've seen some photos of some of your sets that just look phenomenal, with the lighting, with the lasers, with the chair spread out, filling the whole stage up as well, which was, some of those layouts were what people are now starting to use to make sure they've got a COVID friendly stage. You were kind of doing that way before that. So that's really cool.
Yeah, you mean this kind of setup.
Yeah, absolutely
Yeah.
fantastic.
So in a V, because everybody puts them in a row or in a
Yeah.
circle, but why not putting them in a V? And
Yes.
I even work without chairs. I have a show, that's my latest show. It's totally without chairs.
Oh,
So
wow.
they all have a cushion. So they have a pillow, and they
Brilliant.
sleep on the pillow, and then I centralize them on the big spiral, and then it becomes the big
Yeah.
bed. So you can see it, and then you have your
Yeah.
I would say your participants in a group in the middle in their big bed. And when I need to have some
Yeah.
volunteers, I take them, and then if I don't need
Yeah.
them, I put them in the big bed. So because
Brilliant.
it's a show about dreams, and what is
Yes.
dreaming. It's with a cloud, it's with smoke, it is with pillows, and we make a big bed. This is, of
Yeah.
course, not Corona proof. Huh? This is not my Corona show.
Yes.
My Corona show is I use this to touch the
Yes, I
shoulder,
saw that. I
and
thought that was it was such a simple solution to that problem. Yeah.
you create a longer distance. Now I
Yeah.
have more than 1 meter, and I can also point. And if you look at it, it's like a light, and it's good
Oh,
to
yeah.
focus. I will show you. I will have a video soon on YouTube and on the social media how I hypnotize just with this tool. It's like magic. I point to them and they fall on the floor and so on. But I'm making a little. How you call it, a compilation of all these from all the shows, and I need to find the best images, and it always takes a little bit of time to edit a movie.
Brilliant. On the stage set there as well, I love the image of the clouds that you've got either side. It's a small detail that has such a big impact. And
a cheap one, because I don't know if you see the clouds, just to see. The lighting is always in the theater present. It's just some pillows, and the clouds from IKEA. These are kids' lamps.
Oh.
It's a 10-pound lamp, but I put 3 together, so it's larger. I put 2 of them, and and some cushions also from IKEA. So you have a new stage just with some, I don't know, for 100 pound or 150 pound. You have a totally new setup. You don't need chairs and all these things. So so I try to
Yeah, it's exactly what stage hypnosis needs. It is very easy if it becomes stale and just laying people, kind of sitting them in a row and the same. Having that production element, it just really sets the stage for people. What's your history? What were you before you were Patrick Pickart, the stage hypnotist?
I was a human. Now, my real name is Patrick Gillard, like the formal Prime Minister of Australia, but we had the same name. But I discovered that Gillard, people say Gillard, Gillard, Gila. So it was pronounced even in Belgium, because we have half French speaking and Dutch speaking. Nobody pronounced it in the same way. And then I saw Star Trek, and Star Trek was Captain Picard. And I said, it's a French name, Picard, but still everybody pronounced it in the same way.
Yeah.
And that guy was the actor is Patrick Stewart, and
Yes.
Patrick Stewart plays Captain Picard. Patrick Picard, you see and there I got inspiration, and then I saw, I can write Patrick and Picard with the same letters. It's an anagram. I don't know if you know that.
Oh,
So Picard are the same letters as Patrick.
of
And
course, yeah.
I'm also dealing with photography, picture art, Pickart. I'm also a magician, pick a card. So there's a lot of thinking
There's a
behind.
lot going into it, yeah.
It became my stage name, and
Yeah.
and then I had that name, I think, since mid-90s. And then I'm now 49 years old, but I was busy with hypnosis since my 14, 15 years. Very shy. I didn't dare to hypnotize, but I read a lot about it. At that time, there was no internet, so we had to do it with books. And and probably why I started with hypnosis is because of my how you call it? Not my grandfather, but one step higher, my after grandfather or
Our great grandfather.
great.
Yeah, great grandfather. Or we call it great grandfather.
Okay, so I never met him, but my grandparents they talked a lot about him, and probably they are not in a pub, telling some cool stories. No, each time when I did some magic tricks, they say, yeah, it's our father, he did also some magic, but he can also hypnotize. And always these stories about, he let them walk in the snow barefoot and all these things, that make me thinking, so that must be somewhere real. And my father had also a small book about hypnosis on the attic, and so I found that, and I started to read it, and then I started to read another book, and I didn't tell to my parents that I was reading about hypnosis, because I thought they will think that I'm weird, and so I hide those books, and then I went to secondhand bookstores, where it's cheap to find a book about from €1 or a few euros, and then I think it was in 2000. Then there was a big course in London with Ormond McGill and Jerry Valley and all these guys, and the first time that they came to Europe, and I say I must be there. And I went to London, and and there I get confirmation about what I learned, that it's really that it's true. And then still being shy, because it took 15 years to overcome the shyness, because I'm also an engineer. I don't know, I didn't tell that. So I'm an engineer, aeronautical engineer, and also in security management. And then I need to give a lot of training to people about, safety awareness, about, how to follow evacuation procedures, and that I learned to be in front of audiences. And after that, slowly I added some hypnosis to a little magic trick, because I did magic but not performing. And then so with friends and so on. And then I added a little thing with the fingers, the fingers closing, and it worked. And then in 2003. So I started to apply it. So in 2001, 2002, and then in 2003, I did my first stage show. And so I was busy. So I was 32 years old, and I started already with hypnosis when I was 14, 15. So almost 17, 18 years reading about it, but never applying it. But maybe it learned me a lot as well. Maybe it helped me to really understand and to find out why I have all these books have the different techniques, and why does it work? Because God, or who created us, he didn't tell that we have 200 ways to induce hypnosis. So there must be a common thing that works, and I try to assess that, and by also rereading books, because in the beginning it was a little abstract, and then I read again some books, and then okay, now I understand, and then I found the I would say the truth, and I always tell, and a lot of people ask me what book should I buy. I say every book is good. They all will work because the hypnotist wrote it, and it will probably work for him. And you can copy it, and it will not work. And that's a little bit a pity thing that hypnotists don't tell, that the personality behind how he presents this technique plays also a role. And that's why I say read many books, because you will find a way that suits you, where you feel, that's my style. And so telling that's the best book, I cannot tell. You need to write to read books, or maybe now with YouTube, you need to find a way that comes with your attitude, with your background, with your style, how you want to present hypnosis. Do you want to be the mystery guy, or the explaining guy, the educative guy, or the sensational guy? And because you also create a specific audience for that, because you don't go to a big Las Vegas show and then you get a lot of explanation and education about hypnosis. So then it must be, and maybe you are not that personality to do that kind of shows, but maybe you're good for schools or for corporates, because you can create a lot of trust and explaining, and you have a different style. So I don't know who's my audience now here, but
we've got Dale Thomas, who's an Irish hypnotist. Dale's here as well, and he says, "Good evening. Hope everyone's keeping well." Speaking of the show, one of the things that you do, you're very famous for this on Instagram as well, and in the hypnosis community, it's a little bit controversial. Some people kind of go crazy about it. I know laying people on the floor. I know some Americans go nuts about it. Now, for me, this particular thing that you do, a lot of people kind of read some stuff in books, take that bit and go, this shouldn't be allowed, it's illegal. The problem, in my opinion, the problem with the routine isn't necessarily the routine or the thing. It's people with inexperience doing the routine that can cause a problem. You are probably the most experienced person in doing this. And that is what's called, now weirdly, in the United Kingdom, we have the 1952 Hypnotism Act, which specifically mentions this routine and says it's not allowed, so it's a banned routine. However,
but doesn't it mention that it's not allowed when standing on it? I think it's always written with standing with the person on it. No, is it not?
In the 52 Act, I'll be corrected, but it just refers to it as the human bridge. But I think the damage comes when people stand on people. But I think there is not many more powerful demonstrations of hypnosis than the human bridge. Tell me about it. Why do you do it? What are your experiences with it? We've got a clip that I was looking at earlier, which is a great clip of it. Brilliant. I must admit, your images kind of around the world, of that is pretty profound as well. It does have a high impact.
Yeah, so that's also became my logo.
Yes.
So I think I have some other. Here you have the Vitruvius man. Here. So it's me. I added the woman. The Vitruvius guy is the man, the perfect man with the perfect dimensions. So I add the woman to it.
Yes.
And it fits perfectly the circles and the square. But it's by coincidence. It's later that I added to it. But why the human bridge, it's quite famous from the past. They do it hundreds of years, this routine, and I think it's the most typical. When you see this kind of routine, it's about hypnosis. If people are on a chair sleeping, it could be in a subway, a guy sleeping, I would say, or in a theater and then he's sleeping. So people on the floor, could be a guy who was drunk on the floor, but somebody on two chairs or on these two sawhorses. I think everybody will link it to hypnosis.
Yes.
So for me, it's the most recognizable routine. When you see that image, people will probably think hypnosis. That's the first thing. Secondly, so it's linked also to magic. So because you see, when they make people float, they always start with three, how you call that, swords, or two chairs, and they take the chairs away. So it's also typical link to the magical world. So there it is used as a trick or a reason that the people is stiff and that they can take it away and make it float without that the body moves. And third, you can easily do it also without hypnosis. I have a lot of physical books, about physical experiments where they say, you could do a fake hypnosis by putting yourself on two chairs and even break a big brick on and smash it with a hammer without being hurt. You see that there was a German TV program in the 90s where they explain scientific, I would say not scientific things, but that seems impossible, but it's just physics. And they also saw this human bridge, or they mentioned the human bridge, that it's very easy to be done without hypnosis. And I think that's what we also want to tell as a message. Hypnosis, you cannot do anything more with or without hypnosis. You can maybe do it better because you're more focused and so on. So, and that's that's these different views without hypnosis, with magic or during magic, and with hypnosis. I think it's quite speaking, or a logo that has a diverse view. And even kids books. I have a magic book for kids where they pretend to be hypnotized, and they show the human bridge. And if you do that, it's so easy to do. You don't need to be forced. You need to have muscles. But people, a lot of thinking from, it's not possible. I cannot do that. But they never tried. And I also, at the end of my show, I say, you really think that I add some muscles to that person? No. It's the same body, but I can just change the mind setting. And that is what hypnosis is about. You cannot change the body. If I could change the body, I would work at the Olympic Games, I would work in the Tour de France, and I would work in the football, because it will be natural doping. But we can work on the mentality. And that's what this hypnosis is about. I cannot change the body. So, and that's why I use this logo, because it's so easy in one way, and still people think it's the most amazing thing you did in the show. It's often the final of my show, but it's maybe the most stupid and the most easy thing to do, because we had the planking, this 5 to 10 years ago, everybody wanted a picture on Instagram planking, so everybody could do it, and nobody was complaining about his back and all these things.
So Dale Thomas has just said, looks great. I've seen a few guys doing it. Even Mark Zavad does it in Vegas, but it's controversial here. Hearing Patrick, he seems a really nice guy and well educated, and would have the confidence in him doing it. As we're talking about it, we've got a clip of you doing it. I will have to turn the sound down on this though, because I can hear a bit of there's some music in the background, so it does take away from it a little bit. But just for the people that don't know what the human bridge is, I'm going to bring that up now. fantastic clip there. Yeah,
Here tonight.
yeah. I love the touch when you kind of point at the leg and raise it up and then just lower it down again. It's just a nice little touch, is
Yeah,
that as well?
that's it's to a little bit to replace, instead of putting a weight on it, because
Yeah,
of course the weight will make that the body is not, or the back is not can hold it. So
yeah,
you're not sure. I always take a younger person to do it. They have always, the best health condition, and
yeah,
but try it. Even people of 50 years old, they can easily do it. But of course, we have also a different culture in Europe than in the UK and the United States, where they have a different law, or a legal system, or you call it. And it's so when you slip on a banana, they always
yeah,
claim it immediately from millions. We don't have that in our countries, so that's why that's not a reason to do nothing dangerous, or that it
of
should be
course.
dangerous. It's not the reason not to do it or to do it, um, but it's so easy, and everybody would try it. You can even do a kid of 7 years old will easily do it, and
Yeah,
it's the planking phenomena from years ago shows that everybody can do it,
yeah,
and but okay, we don't have this lawsuit system, and so if people feel it, in the United States, they will immediately jump on it when they are on the
yeah,
floor, and their clothing are maybe a little bit dirty. They will immediately start a claim. We don't have that. We want still, enjoy a special experience and not just sitting on a chair and move a little bit. We want to show a little bit more, and that's why
well,
we have in France, in Belgium, in the most European, except UK, but they're left Europe more or less. So maybe
I mean,
because of that, we
speaking
still
of,
can do a lot of nice things and give it more drama to the stage hypnosis
yeah,
show than maybe just sitting on a chair and see that they don't fall off, and all these kind of things.
speaking of,
There are hundreds and maybe thousands of hypnotists out there, and I hope that I'm never be on the YouTube for that. But how often do you see an incident with hypnosis? And I look a lot of YouTube and all these things. If there would be something very dramatic or dangerous, or something, an incident that would happen, it will also jump on YouTube. And of
yeah,
course, you still need to be careful. It's still, you are dealing with the human mind and you're dealing
yeah,
with human body. But we all do the Red Bull. I always say a stage hypnosis show is like, we should be all be sponsored by Red Bull. You can bike normally on the
yeah,
street, but when you do it with jumping and turning, then it's sponsored by Red Bull. If you do ski, you can ski on a hill, and if it's sponsored by Red Bull, because it's spectacular. And I think you
yeah,
can do yoga, meditation, and we do a little bit the most extreme version of meditation and yoga and all this kind of stuff, and that's the stage hypnosis show. So it
yeah.
should be a little bit, passing a little bit the normal. But of course, I'm not sponsored yet by Red Bull. Maybe if there's somebody listening now, but that's how I look to it. It's a little bit our extreme sports, or our
Yeah,
extreme version of all Tai Chi and yoga and mindfulness and all these things. It's a little bit the extreme version of it, but it's nice showing what the possibilities are. Because if it's well done, a good hypnosis show, you get a lot of questions about, oh, it's real. Oh, but then so you can really stop with smoking. And if a good show, an interesting show, which is intriguing and inspiring, people
absolutely.
will discover hypnosis now, because it's the only way to discover hypnosis. Nobody goes to a clinical hypnotherapist to say, I want to experience hypnosis. Here you have 100 pounds and just hypnotize me. Don't think that that happens. So
Yeah,
the only way to taste what is hypnosis feeling, what is how it is, if it is real, what other possibilities are, is a stage show.
Yeah.
And I always say show in English is demonstration, because we would call it a demonstration. So, and we don't want to demonstrate some things with being angry or being crying. No, we want to show it in a fun way, because we learn a lot more when we have fun. A fun teachers, everybody's listening to it.
Yes. Dale
And
Thomas said,
because we want to go to that class, because it's fun. So if we bring in a good way this stage show, people will like it. And I always call my show infotainment, because I explain a lot. I'm more the educative side, and also more the artistic way, and not really the spectacular and throwing people on the floor, but a little bit softer and intriguing, and putting a little bit of art, and that it can be also very tender and sensual, and all this kind of thing, with a nice light. And
yeah.
I want the people to give a good
Dale Thomas,
feeling.
Dale Thomas says, what sort of venues do you perform at? Do you get lots of tourists?
It depends on the type of client. I do the scouting, the schools. I do corporate. I do weddings. I do fairs. I do everywhere where there's in a village. You have the fair, or the annual with the horses and the cows on the market, and a lot of drinking, and then you have some shows and some singers, that kind of thing. But I also do theater shows, and I want, because a lot of hypnotists I see, they can hypnotize. Oh, I want to go to the big theaters, and they want to call. And I don't. For me, I like to perform a lot. I prefer to perform a lot than only focus on the theaters, because I can learn also from the small things. And especially the younger, like scouting, who don't have always the money, I have a special prize, like student prizes. When you go to the, I don't know, in our country, when you want to go to the theater, you have student prize and you have the normal prize, because they don't have the money. But don't forget, students, they are your later big customers. So if they have a good experience with you when they were young, later they will do a wedding, later they are in the corporate and they want to organize a corporate event, and so on. And there you get your bigger money if you want to. They want to see you again in a theater setting, because of course it's a different show. So they are curious what you do in a theater. So, and we cannot exercise at home. A magician can play with his cards at home and exercise. A singer can sing in his car, in his shower, but we cannot exercise. So the only way to exercise is to perform a lot. So for me, I prefer to perform a lot than just look at the money or only focus on big theaters. So I accept a lot of kind of venues, and like in the summer, all the theaters are dead, especially now with the corona. But in general, theaters are dead because everybody's on holidays. So then we can go to hotels and campgrounds. And you have campgrounds with 2,000 people audience. In France, you have campgrounds with 10,000 people on one campground. Wow. You have really theaters like a Greek arena. There are 2,000 people sitting there. Last year, I also did a campground with 1,500 audience. But a normal campground on the evening, they have at least 300 to 400 people in the audience. Now with COVID, it's a little bit less, but and they come from all over Europe. They come from Holland, they come from Germany, they come from everywhere in France. So when they see you and they think it was a good show, maybe the setting, and you don't have these theaters setting always, but they will remember you and they will contact you for other events as well. So I had TV shows thanks to campground, because people from TV, they also go to holidays on campgrounds, and then they take you to the TV show. So don't be afraid to take small things, big things, and so on. It's the best training, and you learn a lot from the different audiences, also different cultures.
Yes, one of the things that a lot of stage hypnotists do is they kind of develop the products to sell after the show, such as quit smoking, losing weight, etc., etc. But you have a board game that
Yeah.
you've developed and you market. I'll bring that up on screen now. When I bring it up on screen, it should also put a link out as well so that people can purchase that. There it is.
Yes, so it's the only black and white game that you will find in the stores. So, and it's fully developed in Belgium. So the drawings are Belgium, the card designs, the boards, the three graphic designers from Belgium.
Yeah.
It's developed by Cartamundi, one of the biggest card producers in the world. And how did I start with developing this game? You know, it's I'm a big collector of everything what is about hypnosis, and I will tell you two things: one of the marketing after the show, and then the reason of the game. But I will now start. I will show you a little bit around. So I now, since 1 year, I live in my hypno mansion. So I developed a home with everything concerning hypnosis. And you see, that's my museum. So I have more than 2,500 books about hypnosis, Greek books, Japanese books, Russian books, books from 1800s. I have mangas, I have comics, I have, card games. I've, the bicycle cards. They have now a special hypnosis card. But you also have, for example, a comic, Tom and Jerry with hypnosis, and so on. So this is my comic section. And then you see that I now recently they developed a Belgian beer, Hypnotized. So, and you have different tastes. So it's new one, but you see have a dollhouse, the hypno girl, and so on. You have kind of glasses, music, everything, perfumes, everything that is linked to hypnosis. And I saw all this kind of stuff, and I see there's no game. You find games about fuck here. You find games about pendulum and all these things, and there's no game about hypnosis. And everybody, as a kid, tried to hypnotize. I think somebody else. Everybody is intrigued. Everybody wants to be able to hypnotize. So I put that in a box, and of course, it tells a little bit about how hypnosis works, because you start with money. You are not born like a hypnotist. And that's the big message inside the game, that everybody starts with money cards. And there's a market with courses, with books, with objects to hypnotize, like a pendulum or spirals. And the more you can buy of these things, the more hypnotic power you have. And then you can do duels with the other participants, and you can say, I will hypnotize you. But they also have a kind of power, and the cards have all different values, and if you have the most power, you can hypnotize the other one, and then you push them to the middle of a spiral board, and you will see that the eye will close. So each step that you go to inside the spiral, the eye will close, and when you arrive in the middle, you have wide eyes, the typical view that people are hypnotized. So we learn a little bit, so that you don't need to, you're not born that you need money. The more skills you have by doing a lot of courses, books, like in real life, more or less. And of course, with a game, people will talk about hypnosis. Oh, do you believe that? Oh, but I saw that. I did it already. And so it's also a social way to promote hypnosis, because people will always, when they see it on TV, how do you believe that? And, that's fake. And they start the discussion when they only see it on TV, or maybe a real show. But how do you, in another way, promote it? So by playing a game, and like I said, everybody is intrigued by that. And so that also has a social purpose. That's, it opens a discussion, so that people talk about their experiences about it. So double win.
Brilliant. So what's
sorry, and then what's the Yeah, I can tell hours. The Russian, I did 4-hour conference. No, one of the things that is also important after the show, it's a little gift. You know, in the past, when
Yes.
people participated, you know, of course I'm a hero for the lot of audience, but of course without my subjects, my participants, I cannot hypnotize. Show what hypnosis is. So I give them a little gift. It's a little band with my website on it. It's also with my logo here, the catalepsy, the human bridge,
Yeah.
and you know, it's amazing that people wear these kind of things for years. When they see you again, no, yeah, you see because for them it's a little bit of magic.
Yes.
They link it with a little bit of magic and like a support, mental support. So that was my first gift, and then the second gift that I developed was. Do you have? Yeah. So it's this one. I will put my computer somewhere. I will show you. You see that you can fold it into it's a. My camera gives the other direction. That's why I always a little bit miss when I go to the left. The camera shows in the other way, so it's difficult for me to. So you can for the rain protect you in the summer. You can sit on it, and it's a frisbee to throw with it. And there's my website on it.
Yeah.
And you get it in this kind of bag, and it's like a business card.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, my address is on it, my email address, my phone number, my logo, of course. And when you take it out, and then you leave it, then it jumps open.
That's really
So
cool.
it's fun. People would not throw away your business card like that.
Exactly.
So they want. So it's always a nice way to thank people after the show, because it's thanks to them that you get money.
Yes.
So what is a little gift? And people keep it, will not throw it away. The normal business card they will lose, but it's a little toy, and people won't want to lose a toy. So it's always good to thank people. And now I developed a game. Of course, they need to pay for that, but yeah. So these are little things that I do.
And it keeps you, like you said, they keep that as that momentum forever. And so anytime they need to, be reminded of who was the hypnotist, they've kind of got it there and then. So that's brilliant. Well, Patrick, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on. Hopefully, guys watching, hit up Patrick's social media and his website as well. We've been flashing it up on screen. Definitely check him out on Instagram. There's some cool. Definitely Patrick, thank you very much for coming on and joining us tonight. We shall upload you onto YouTube as well. You've probably got more spirals than anyone in the world. It's been an absolute pleasure, Patrick. Thank you very much. Take care.
Thank you for watching and listening.
Okay, thank you very much.